All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the 18th annual Summer Gazebo Readings. We welcome everybody back. I see a lot of familiar faces, and I see a lot of new faces, and that's a wonderful thing. So this year, the gazebo readings are brought to you by the Kiwanis Club of Oceanside, as always, and also the Oceanside Library. Everybody should have a program. On the program, you have the bios of today's readers, as well as the upcoming people, and very important people on the back. These are our premium sponsors, our sponsors, and our program patrons. All of the funds raised are divided between the Oceanside Libraries, Friends of the Library, and they use those for literary purposes, and the Kiwanis Club of Oceanside, and they use that for our children's programs. Before we go any further, I'm going to ask our Vice President of Kiwanis, Eric Abbey, to step up and say a few words.
And good evening, everybody. Just a Kiwanis Club of Oceanside does give our main goal is to help the kids in the neighborhood and the surrounding neighborhoods. Just to let you know, we're sending 7 kids to camp this summer, along with next week at the Oceanside Scholarship Awards Night. We're giving out 15 scholarship awards. Just so, since Tony will mention it later, on July 1st, there will be a barbecue with our patriotic 4th of July night and the reading of the Declaration of Independence. Sorry, going to say Constitution. I knew that was wrong. And that starts an hour earlier. So please come and join us as always. And just to let you know, Kiwanis is also having a movie night here on July 19th. Obviously at dusk, so we can watch the movie on the green here. Bring a chair, come have some popcorn, hang out. Oh, the movie is Trolls Band Together. I've never heard of it, but hey, whatever. Bring your children and grandchildren. How about that? And now back to you. So, and thank you for coming and enjoy the season.
All right. So without any further ado, we're going to get this kicked off. She's read here before. A good friend of the gazebo, ladies and gentlemen, Margarette Wahl. Okay. Right. That's a good.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Good. You go again.
All righty. Thank you, Tony, and thank you, everyone, for coming out. Thank you, Kiwanis. I'm going to start off with some Sanryu. I wrote some of these during Memorial Day weekend. I had the privilege of, on the Thursday before our Memorial Day, bringing my special needs class down to Jones Beach. And we had a thunderstorm that morning, and then the kids got to see the Blue Angels practicing, and the beach was like almost empty. And it was beautiful because normally, if any of you go to the air show, it's mobbed. So it was nice for these special needs kids to be able to see them perform. So here's some Sanryu. Between thunderstorms, rumbling blue airplanes, blue angels flying. Between thunderstorms, rumbling blue airplanes, blue angels flying. 4 planes unison, roaring blue angels soar the Jones Beach sky. 4 planes unison, roaring blue angels soar the Jones Beach sky. A transistor plays, Blue Angel cockpits heard live, planes practice up high. A transistor plays, Blue Angel cockpits heard live, planes practice up high. Memorial Day, celebrating freedom, not barbecues. Memorial Day, celebrating freedom, not barbecues. The military parades, red, white, and blue, stand for our flag. The military parades, red, white, and blue, stand for our flag. Fire trucks quiet, no sirens on parade route, not the 4th of July. Fire trucks quiet, no sirens on parade route, not the 4th of July. A silent moment poised for our heroes, not capes, uniforms. A silent moment poised for our heroes, not capes, uniforms. Because I live in Massapequa, I wrote this particular poem. Love Letter to the Sunrise Mall. The youth today will never know fun times embraced, walking your tiled floors, through your alleyways, kiosk browsing, Woolworths, a staple once of the Massapequa community, Orange Julius on 2 floors, Hallmark Gifts had 2 stores too, Stearns, Sears, JCPenney's, Macy's, escalators lifted us up in shopping spree spirits, Sam Goody for a 45 record, or a single or two. A Sabara slice of time spent after movies, or your time out arcade for a break, while puff and stuff sugared me in candy fixes. Country jeans, strawberries, Payless shoes, Victoria's Secret all dressed me in my teen to adult years. Petland discount toyed with my dog. She knew your yellow bag, never camouflaged her food and fun. This empty space, once filled of shoppers, teenagers occupied with socialization, indoor koi ponds and fish tanks, missed like this mall. There are some things you just can't find online. Game of life. Life is like a game. We all play to survive. No one lives in Candyland. Most of us don't have a clue. Every day is like Trivia Pursuit. We're all hanging like Hangman, and no one's sorry. Life's like a battleship, a Jenga. Sometimes we're left, right, or center. We try chutes or ladders or hues and cues. Pick your poison. Our memory is the operation. We will scrabble, break the ice as we'll age walking along this taboo journey, bamboozled. We only live once. Uno. That's it. So don't ruin it with too many hours of cups. Spice it up in a monopoly of good choices, a Pictionary of possibilities, or just fold your cards against humanity and accept it for all that it is. Confessional poem. I confess I chose poetry because I couldn't dance, got kicked out of the chorus in the 8th grade. I couldn't master reading sheet music or carrying notes on a violin. I chose poetry because I letter wrote as a teenager, story wrote as an adult until I met metaphor. He made me cheat with simile, fool around with rhyme until we built stanzas. I confess it's poetry. It's better than beer, tastier than wine, cheaper than cigarettes, and doesn't stink a room like weed. And it's legal everywhere. I chose poetry, met others who chose also, fell in love with their craft. Together, we created a poetry community where we share it like joints. I confess, I write poetry. I get my high from seeing my name in print. It is my greatest achievement. I share my gift with others. We are artists. Some of us are called fools, say it's wasted time. That we're only wasted on our creative words. And I confess it by what it is. I call it by the truth. We are unique. We are original. We are misfits. We are poets. Ode from a crayon. I once embraced this world sharp and pointed. My privilege label covered me. I was the fresh wax scent of a brand new box. When you took me out, I engaged with paper like butter does to bread. This was me, a precise colorization. My known popularity. I'm number 00000, black inside 16, 24, 32, and 64 count boxes. Crayola. Never rose art or crazy art, imitations. I was the real deal. The eminence of the coloring world. You couldn't color without me. Then my point got broken. Flat-headed, I still filled in and drawed. Eventually, I ended up on a preschool classroom floor where I was ripped naked of my gray label, stepped on, and broken. I ended up in the brokenness of a broken crayon drawer. Melted, I blended in with a few friends of shades no one ever gave us names for. Now I sit with other crayons and candle remains, a far cry from eastern Pennsylvania, the Crayola factory I was made from. My next poem is Ocean of Memory. It's summertime. I love Montauk. There I sit in the middle of the room. Remember Montauk 2 weeks ago. Quiet and empty like this space. Just me, my towel, sunscreen, and chair. Then company arrived of the unexpected kind. Seeing water shooting up from its wakes. Spurs of ocean spray above the waves. No signs of boats or barges, swimmers or surfers. Just the Atlantic Ocean, this giant fish tank for the largest mammals of the sea. A school of whales became my company. Whales washing up along Long Island beach shores in recent days, struck by boats or confused by the sounds from the windmills, placed in their ocean homes. Not here at Ocean Vista, this desolate beach at summer's end. Seagulls and plovers join me, dip in and dive out of tides as spouts like sprinklers spray up like fire hoses. A large fin appears like she's dancing on shimmery waves of a moving dance floor with reflective sunlight as her disco ball. This welcome company fills the empty space of a Montauk memory. My next poem is titled A Shooting Star. It's written in memory of my friend Chris Scotto Lavino. He passed away this June, 20 years on a motorcycle. So I'm reading it to remind people to be mindful of people on motorcycles. A shooting star. I saw a shooting star. It glittered across a dark sky. Like a lantern guiding angels, it shined. Saw its illuminated glow glaze onto darkness, brightness only for a moment. It shot back by Jones Beach Tower. A line of shimmer, it slowly vanished. Chris saw the star too. His young innocence was amazed. He was with me that night after a movie. We took a long drive. We were only friends, only colleagues at work. Together, we shared a memory that night. Several years later, Chris had died riding on his motorcycle. Now I realized there were two shooting stars that night. One reminding me how beautiful the night sky appears, the other to remember treasured times with friends, because like shooting stars, time passes by quickly and slowly vanishes out of sight. And for my last piece, I have more Sanryu, appropriate for tonight. The time of the year we bring out our lawn chairs, Gazebo Mondays. The time of the year we bring out our lawn chairs, Gazebo Mondays. 1 hour a week, Oceanside Gazebo, we are inspired. 1 hour a week, Oceanside Gazebo, we are inspired. Upon the green lawn, within this gazebo, written words take flight. Upon the green lawn, within this gazebo, written words take flight. Underprivileged kids sent off to camp each year, gazebo raffles. Underprivileged kids sent off to camp each year, gazebo raffles. And my last one, Mondays of summer shine by readers and their work inside 1 hour. Mondays of summer shine by readers and their work, all inside 1 hour. Thank you, guys.
Margarette Wahl. All right, rolling right into our second one of the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, a newcomer to the gazebo, Sandra Proto. Brought a fan club. Where's the one? Yeah, oh, sure, yes.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, everyone. Yes, I finally, after years, I've been seeing it, I've been missing it to kind of apply to come here. So thank you for accepting me. What I'm going to read, well, it's June now. I have two daughters. One is a senior in high school. She's about to graduate. One is a junior. And I'm going to read my daughter poems. I have three poems when they were younger. I haven't written the one yet for my oldest one's graduation yet, but it's kind of, I'm going to feel the mommy and just memories. The first poem is called Growth Spurt. It always seems to happen in the morning before or after my first cup of coffee. I hear a gentle girlish song in the hallway asking for breakfast. I gaze towards the innocent notes. My eyes fall to your legs that are almost the length of the kitchen table metal poles. I tell you, you look taller. You reply by yawning on the way to the living room to retrieve a Barbie or a pony from their slumber party. I think maybe it's just me. My eyes are playing tricks. But I know it is true. You are growing and will not stop. One day, you will peer into my eyes without tilting your head upward. One day, you will bend your head downward to look at me. But right now, you have settled beneath my breast. I take comfort in this and slide your eggs onto a plate. So when they was younger, I have two, like I said, I I was a helicopter mom. I'm no longer a helicopter mom, but this was my helicopter days. It's called Cramping My Daughter's Style. We arrived at school early enough so my daughters could play in the yard. I stood a long distance away with motherly eyes, watching them race and climb with their friends. The shrill whistle sounded. It was time to line up. My younger daughter walked hand in hand with her BFF and gave a look that stopped me from planting a kiss on her forehead. I blew a kiss. She snatched it from the air and rubbed it on her cheek before settling down with her first grade class. Gave her an awkward smile and walked towards my older daughter's line. She was in a circle with 4 or 5 girls in her second grade class. When I approached, they all stopped talking and glared at me. I circled the outer skirts of their enclave. I blew a kiss. My older daughter quickly caught it and flicked it behind her ear. I started looking at my daughter's disappear in the brick building and thought how I was really a mother because I had cramped my daughter's style. Okay, my last daughter's home. I wrote this actually this year in March. Unfortunately, I supposed to have did this at another reading. I was sick, so I never got a chance to read it. So this is my poem. We had to write a poem about March, what we march for. It could be anything. So my poem is I march for. I march for those who cannot march and those who are afraid to march. I march for my daughters. I show them the way to find themselves. I walk down the aisle of confidence and stand on top of persistence. I shout, I love you. You are worthy. Yes, you do matter. I march for my daughters as they march for others. They march for their friends, for God, for their beliefs, for their truth. We march for to right all wrongs, equality and inclusion, diversity and adversity. Let us march for movements addressing resiliency and challenges. Okay, so now that we're out on this beautiful lawn, I have 3 poems that I wrote years ago. I was in Brooklyn, and this is what I saw. So observations. Peach bodies sprawled across green hills and pastures, soaking in sun rays that make them cherry blonde statues. A, dirt, a dark gray pigeon lands and walks aimlessly around, his head stretching back and fro like Mick Jagger before he takes off on another journey. A sailboat glides beneath the fireball sun, across the warm water, and slips under the Brooklyn Bridge. Passerbyers walk hand in hand along the path, falling in love with every step. Curved backs lean towards New York Times bestsellers and Oprah's book club selections. A frisbee lands by the feet of a 2-year-old. He bends down and falls on his cushioned bottom. His dimpled fingers grasp the purple disc and he places it in his mouth, gumming it like a teething ring. I inhale all that I've seen and laugh to myself, enjoying the artistry of life. This was also in Brooklyn. It was August 22nd on a Sunday afternoon. The poem is called August 22nd, 2004 on a Sunday afternoon. August 22nd, 2004 on a Sunday afternoon, I was in Empire Fulton Ferry State Park, taking a break from my volunteer work for African Voices Rhymes, Rhythms, and Rituals event. I walked across the tame green blades of grass and stood 3 feet away from the black stage, waiting in anticipation for Louis Rivera and the Jazz Owens. The MC suggested that Louis introduce the band. Louis Rivera, decked in a pinstripe turquoise black dashiki and baggy white dockers. I myself was dressed in a white cotton jersey and turquoise overall skirt. Louis clutched the mic and introduced the multi-talented performers of the Jazz Owens. In his raspy voice that did not seem to fit his petite physique, Louis says, Ahmed Abdul, the band leader, composer, is on trumpet. Atuba Kuwambina Wilson, the storyteller, is on flute and percussion. Naomi, the poet, is on violin. And Radu, the composer, is on bass. The warm breeze rolled down my body, rippling my skirt as I squatted, listening to the progressive silky sounds, fresh and flirt from the instruments of the Jazz Owens. Louis took command of the mic. He was slow and precise with the timing of the music. Louis Ray Rivera and the Jazz Owens was jamming and scatting, improvising and bebopping. Louis Rivera and the Jazz Owens awakened the drowsy artist in me. And my last poem is called They Came to the Park. I'm originally from Rockaway, Queens, and we every July there's a Rockaway reunion that a friend of mine holds in a park. And one time when I went there, I was just observing everything, and this is what I saw there. It's called They Came to the Park, a salute to the function at the junction. They came to the park when the sun arose, families flocking inside the entrance, with legs moving to the music, bicycles rolling, wheelchairs racing, strollers strolling. They came to the park seeking unity. What they saw were blue, green, and pink bubbles shooting from plastic yellow elephants riding in the wind. Trees hovering overhead, blocking the glaring sun from the clear sky. Brown, tan, and even peach bodies. Standing, conversing, sitting, relaxing, running, skipping, jumping, double dutch playing, basketball, tennis, and tag, cooling themselves under sprinklers. Even Tweety Bird and Spider-Man were there, attached to poles, waiting to go to a child's bedroom. They came to the park and found unity. In each other's eyes, smiles, laughter, joy, and even in the food that they prepared. They came to the park and they stayed until the sun went down. Thank you.
Great job. Thank you so much. All right. Sandra Proto. Okay. So, we don't, when I first started this 18 years ago, when we first decided to start this, many of you know the story, we were not going to have any poets at all. I did not want any poetry up here whatsoever. That's a longer story. You'll probably get it later in the year. But we do like to mix in not only with our poetry, but also our prose. She read for us last year. Rumor has it she claims that there was rain, but we know that it never rains on Schoolhouse Green. Well, ladies and gentlemen, back this year, a beautiful sunny day, Sarah Hosey. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting. It's good to be back. So my collection of short stories, Dirty Suburbia, came out in January, and I'm going to read just a part of a short story. It comes from the middle of the first story in the collection that's called Christine. So what you need to know, what's happened so far is that there's two girls, they're 12 and 13, Gina and Stacy, and it's the early 90s. They go to the playground at their public school all day. That's what they're doing with their summer. And they've come across this 5-year-old girl named Christine, who is deposited at the park by her great grandmother every day. And they take it upon themselves to take care of this child. And they see this as sort of their summer duty. There is one sort of shocking adult moment in here. It's early. We'll get it over with. And I think we can handle it. Okay. So Stacy and Gina agree that Christine's abandonment at the park is startling and offensive, further evidence of Christine's family's difference. Gina and Stacy have only been allowed to come to the park by themselves since last summer, when Gina was 11 and Stacy was turning 12, and although they never told their mothers, even that was too early. The harassment was stunningly immediate, as though Stacy and Gina had tripped an invisible alarm that alerted all area perverts to the presence of parentless preteens. Their very first day in the park, a man had hailed them from the street, called them over to his car, ostensibly to ask for directions. Polite girls they approached to find that in his fist he held his penis. Stacy gasped, pulled her friend's arm, and they dashed back to the park. It's over. Another day, sitting on the swings, they became aware of a man staring openly and aggressively. The girls fled, and he followed them with a chilling, practiced casualness. They were smart, though, and they cut through a neighbor's backyard before shutting themselves up in Stacy's garage, where her stepfather had his workshop. They strung fishing line across the door as a booby trap and armed themselves with a staple gun and a hammer. They shouted, "Come and get us," to the roof beams, hoping he would stumble in and they could murder him, or at least hurt him, humiliate him. "Queens, girls, nab, perv," the Daily News headline would read, and beneath it, a color picture of Stacy and Gina standing beside their trophy, strung up like jaws. Now they're older, and of course the harassment continues. Men still say vile things, expose themselves, but the girls have gotten better at seeing it coming, moving out of the way, pretending not to notice. One day, Christine does not come to the park. Maybe she's sick, Stacy says. I hope she's okay, Gina says. They miss their little girl. The day is long and hot and shapeless, like the uncrossable expanses of sand in the movies they watch, with General Hospital at 3 o'clock, an impossibly distant oasis. The swings are flat metal benches attached to chains. Gina and Stacy stand and swing themselves so high that the chains hiccup and buckle, and their bodies fly free for a moment before they are yanked back, their long hair rushing forward and sticking to their faces. Sometimes Stacy believes she will continue right over the top and around again, and she wonders if she will survive. Christine is back the next day, unable to account for her absence. But what did you do? Stacy asks. Christine sits between them on a curb next to the concrete water fountain. The day is ugly and thickly hot. Christine gazes past Stacy, her beautiful black irises set on ivory eyeballs. TV? Buy me ice cream? I don't have any money today, Stacy lies. She feels exploited because Gina never has any money and never brings any snacks except for gum, which she knows Stacy can't have because she has braces. Stacy can't imagine Christine's existence beyond the park. They ask her questions all the time, but the girls' answers are vague, cagey. Do you live in a house or an apartment? Yes. Does your grandmother live with you too? Nana takes care of me. Christine rips a round scab from her knee and raises it to her mouth. Gina pushes her hand away. No, she says, that's gross. Even though Stacy knows, Gina eats her own scabs like it's her job. Gina turns to Stacy. I wonder what happened to her yesterday. She touches the end of Christine's hair and wrinkles her nose. They obviously don't care about her, Stacy says. It makes her so angry to think about these people, Christine's family, who think it's okay for a little girl to be in the park alone. It makes her angry at Christine, too, for not being fearful, for trotting around the park, happy, confident that others will take care of her, protect her. They don't deserve her, Gina says. Christine sets her chubby finger on the curb in the path of an ant, who bumps into it before turning and heading the other way. We should bring her to my house and give her a bath, Stacy says. The moment Stacy says it out loud, she is shocked to realize that the longing to bring Christine to her house has always been there, like an adult tooth, invisible and waiting. And now it is pushing through, erupting, inevitable. She expects Gina to demur, but the other girl says, yeah. She puts her face in front of Christine's. Would you like to go to Stacy's house? We could watch TV and eat animal crackers. She turns back to Stacy. You have animal crackers at your house. It's so easy. What's wrong? Stacy asks, pretending nonchalance. They are already walking toward the gate. Don't leave me, Christine says, trailing behind them. Stacy stops walking. She puts her arms around the girl and picks her up. Don't cry, she says. It's okay, Gina adds, rubbing the girl's back. We just want to go to Stacy's. You can come with us. Nana says I don't leave the park without her, Christine murmurs. Gina and Stacy nods. This is good advice, of course, although it clearly doesn't apply to them, to this situation. Christine belongs to them. They take care of her every day. They will just simply take care of her somewhere else. Stacy, it's just around the corner. We could bring you back before your Nana even knows you've left. The girl wipes her nose on the back of her hand. Animal crackers, Stacy sings songs. Okay, Christine says, but you'll carry me? At first, it is thrilling to be inside the cool and empty house. They sit on the big couch in the small TV room, dusty blinds pulled against the day, eating animal crackers out of a clear plastic barrel and watching The Price is Right. But she is beginning to wonder if this was a mistake. She looks at Christine and Gina and knows that her mother wouldn't like this. A little girl she doesn't know in their house eating their animal crackers. Stacy hears a dog barking outside and feels annoyed that they never go to Gina's, that it'll be her who gets in trouble if anyone finds out about this. What if her grandmother comes looking for her? Stacy says. She never comes before too, but what if she does? Gina takes a handful of crackers. I don't know. She eats them and then sticks her finger deep into the back of her mouth to dislodge where the cookies stick behind her teeth. The sight of it makes Stacy want to puke. She might call the police, Stacy says. No, Gina says. She puts the finger she just had in her mouth into the plastic jug of cookies. She doesn't even speak English. How could she call the police? Don't eat all the animal crackers, Stacy snaps. She hears the soft rumble as Gina takes another handful. She won't do that, Gina says. To Christine, she says, "You're having fun, right? Isn't Stacy's house nice?" Stacy looks at the girl. The girl nods and smiles, her own teeth plastered with chewed cookie. They make orange juice from a frozen can, the noise of the wooden spoon hitting the sides of the plastic jug like a heartbeat. They smile and let her lick the spoon. They pour tall glasses and put ice cubes in them. It is 2 o'clock and then 2:30. They watch General Hospital. Stacy has dug out an old coloring book and a handful of crayon stubs, and Christine sits on the floor coloring on the coffee table. Stacy is nervous and distracted, but the game she is playing in her head, in that game, she is calm because in the daydream, Christine lives here too, even if they have to hide her in the evenings. There are many precedents for this in the sitcoms that Stacy watches. It's so late, Gina observes. She peels paint off her fingernail with her teeth and then plucks the paint from her tongue and wipes it on her shorts. What are we going to do? Could we just walk her back and then run away? The grandmother might see us, Stacy returns, as though that settles it, although she's not feeling settled at all. Gina groans, but then stretches out on the sofa, digging her cold little toes under Stacy's thighs. So what are we going to do? Returning to the park seems impossible, as though in coming to Stacy's dark house during the day, they have stepped outside of time. The park feels far away or gone somehow, like Stacy's grandmother's house after it was sold and torn down, a brick Fetters building rising in its place. We haven't done anything wrong, Stacy says. We're taking care of her. Then to Christine, she says, "Do you want to have a sleepover?" The girl looks back without comprehension. "What?" Gina asks. "If I said I was going to sleep at your house and you said you were going to sleep at my house," Stacy says, "we could stay in the garage. I have sleeping bags." Gina scrunches her nose, but then relaxes. She smiles and shrugs, warming to the idea. Stacy's heart beats hard. So if you want to find out what happens to little Christine, you have to read the rest of the story. Thank you very much. And it's been a pleasure to hear the other readers tonight. I look forward to the next one. Thank you.
You stuck this right in. All right. So, Hosey. And plug. Her book is for sale in the back. Okay, so next week, before I bring up our final reader for tonight, next week we have another very strong lineup. Start with Elizabeth Rowe, who is an Oceansider's own. She's a storyteller. Shanice Cruz, I don't know if she's the current or she's just immediate past Nassau County Poet Laureate, Paula Kersey, and the first Poet Laureate of Suffolk County, the Deacon of Poetry in the New York City area, George Wallace, will be here next week. So Paula, Elizabeth, Shanice, and George. We hope that you all come out. All right, finishing out our first night and bring up to the stage, the gazebo here, Vinnie Calone.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This is such a beautiful night. Thank you, Kiwanis. Thank you for the other 3 years. I'm a full poet, which means that most of the poems that I write are usually full. So this first poem is called Waning Person, and it's a trend to say variation. Eric Victory Garden, planted just for show. Surrender to the muse once more before you go. Rest and restore your self-shape. Become reflecting, contemplating, and creating as you go. Composting rich ideas take time and money. Intuition tells me we'll be fine. Don't worry, honey. Surrender to the muse once more before you go. Unattended, overgrown, we need to reap what we sow. Give up your bounty and go dormant with the frost. Take your winter nap and dream of things you've lost. I turn you run over again in my mind. Word told me, don't fret, you'll be just fine. Rest and restore yourself for shape. Become the present floating overhead. You stole the summer, now it's fall. The shore, the clouds can't hide you. I hear your call, like a throat. My claw is not meant for fighting, spitting words, casting barbs quick, like lightning, reflecting, contemplating, praying as you go. Pay attention. Make sure not to step on the road. Beneath the light of the waning crescent moon, you're planted too close. Should have left. Everything is everywhere and nothing is even. Sprouting weeds, more eggplant, and kohlrabi are formed. You're boasting rich ideas. Take time and money. It takes getting in the soil and feeding. We need to break down the organic matter to begin the life cycle again, despite all the barren blather, despite all the pests and disease ruling the harvest. You need to spend the seed which you invest. Intuition tells me you'll be fine, don't worry, honey. Why the heck does it always have to be about money? Does the moon care? Does our garden know? The future owners of a modest house ever grow anything in this spot which has become an eyesore? Oh, Pyrrhic Victory Garden, we won the battle. I'm reading a selection that I'm publishing shortly. So,
Do you know? Do you know someone who always says you know when they mean to say something more specific? Like, do you know? Know what? Know what? Like is sometimes substituted for you know. Yes, I know. I know someone who always says you know when they're trying to find a word on the tip of their tongue, when they're not sure what they want to say. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when using a sentence explicitly to, to hinder, to hinder the flow. When they mean to say something more specific, but they're nervous and comes out, I know, though sometimes it's irritating. I know what you mean. You mean to say something and comes out instead. Do you know? Know what? Know what? You haven't told me anything. How can I possibly know what you're saying? Stop saying you know. There's a word on the tip of my tongue for people like you. You're vague. Like is sometimes substituted for Like I hear what you're saying. Like I'm with you. Like I understand what you're trying to tell me. I comprehend the meaning of your point, Yes, I know. Like is sometimes substituted for Yes, I know. I know someone that does this all the time. It really doesn't bother me, but I think it's becoming contagious because I find myself becoming like, kind of annoying. I wrote this poem for my daughter. It's called A Simple Song. I tried to write a simple song that anyone could sing, even the ones that got it wrong. To them, joy it would bring. A song about us all, from the biggest to the small, a song about our dreams. I want to write and get it right so there can be no doubt. A song about the rest of us, the ones that have been left out. A song about the fall, the writings on the wall. Let's sing about these things. My goal is to write a simple song that anyone can sing, but people choose not to sing, and maybe that's just their thing. But the song that must go on, rolling to the dawn, or at least until they sing. I tried to write a simple song that anyone could sing, even the ones that get it wrong. To them joy it would bring. A song about us all, from the biggest to the small, a song about our dreams. I want to write and get it right so there can be no doubt. A song about the rest of us, the ones that have been left out. A song about the fall, the writings on the wall. Let's sing about those things. My goal was to write a simple song that anyone could sing, but others choose not to sing. Maybe that's just their thing. But the song that must go on, rocking till the dawn, from the nest, I hear them sing. So my daughter graduated high school in 2020, and then all the people who graduated in 2020 are graduating now in 2024. So I wrote this poem for her and her class in 2020. It's called An Occluded Sky. May you go boldly into your next horizon, and your find your Shangri-La. May the wind be at your back and the sun be in the sky and the heights low enough to reach, but still somewhere lost in the occluded sky. May you get the good things in life without too much pain or strife. May you go into your next endeavor confidently without pause. Wisdom is lost on the young, and in youth we seldom realize the true cost as we pay through the nose, and those in the know it's towards a good cause. May you get your share the good things and never ride that train in vain. May you go blindly into the fray and live another day so that you can say to the same to your children's children. Go bravely into that new world and do not go quietly into that good night. Stand up for what you believe is right and fight, fight, fight. Most of all, when everyone else seems to be losing their head, above all else, remain sane. May you never need or want. It's not what you keep, it's not what you flaunt. Never give up the ghost, and may your spirit remain to haunt these halls with the memory of your gift. And when you're feeling low sometime, call me for a lift. And if I'm not around, think of me just the same. May you go bravely into the breach one more time and with feeling. Never be intimidated by a cloudy sky or dappled ceiling. When storms are on the horizon, remember they soon will be clearing. And if you ever thought to doubt me, look toward the patented weather vane. It's both accurate and revealing. This next poem is for a good friend of ours. It's called Seeing Things for T.A. Niles. I thought that I saw you, but I was mistaken. It was just a branch in the window pane shaken. The squirrel was leaping to get to the gutter, and if it's not one thing, it's surely another. I can see that you're getting older. You can't remember what I just told you. It scares me to think that I may soon lose you. When I look in the mirror, I'm confused too. I hope what you got skips a generation because I'm not ready to go ahead to the station. You didn't answer. I was talking to no one. And I'm going to close with an homage to the Song of the Wandering Angus by William Butler Yeats. It's called The Song of the Flickering Angus. When they're young, it's understood the fire will race to the head. It's hard for them to understand. No one hears or follows when led. With blown out light bulb and clipped wing, no moths left to wander about. Bait the fruited line, dream the dream, pass the time, rejoice, stand up and shout. Now lay your worries at the door. Come stoke the fire and flame. Forget the rustling on the floor. Heed me as I call you by your name. This, like all other tales, unfurl. There's deception, so beware. Who called you by your name and ran, left your cupboards empty and bare? Though you are young and pondering, with best intentions, we made plans, only to find it all went wrong. Kiss it goodbye, throw up your hands, walk with me in wizened grass, celebrate all that we've done, the silver promise of the moon, and the breach of contract with the sun. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Vinnie Calone. All right, I just want to remind everybody there's still books for sale in the back. We're now going to pull our 50-25. 25 tonight's winner wins $32. I'm going to ask the vice president of the board of the Oceanside Library, Janet Pearsall, to come up and against her wishes. This person wins $32 and can take out books for free from the Oceanside Library with an Oceanside Library card. And the winner is Mary Ann Lara. All right. I'm going to pick, I don't know, Bob Savino, 4 or 5. 4 tickets that go into the grand prize, Sandy Shoal, You win nothing tonight, Sandy, but you could win the big grand prize in August. Sabrina, there you go. Peter Dugan. And the last one to go into next week, Vinnie Calone. So thank you everybody for coming out. We welcome you. We welcome all our new people. If you're not on our email list, please sign up in the back. Again, there's books for sale. Thank you so much, and we'll see you here next Monday at 7 o'clock. Thank you, everybody.